how do people play small? What are some examples of people coming to you, and they're asking for a whole kind of
Mhm.
rework, and
Yeah,
then you can actually see that they are playing small in their lives?
right. So, I'll use a couple of different examples. I've got one client who is just a queen when it comes to real estate, right? She is a front runner. She is always, being recognized for her accolades, but again, kind of in the shadow of the men in her profession. And so she came to me and she's like, I am just so tired of not having the opportunity, but I'm not sure how else to do it. So I'd like to build my own brand. The company will benefit from it, but I need to stand on my own two stilettos here and really make a name for myself, right? And really own this, which I love, right? I've had other women that have come to me and said, I've had this really successful career as a lobbyist, but again, not in my own identity, right? Under the auspices of a firm. And I really want to stand on my own feet here too. And I want to be able to shine bright. And so there's a lot of that. A physician coach that I work with who has had an unbelievable career, right? And anesthesia and just, brilliant. But again, wants to be able to stand as who she is and be recognized for the contributions she's making as the individual, not the person associated with the institution that they work for. So that's a lot of it. So that those are probably three of the most common scenarios, right? With the women that I work with. But even that, right? Like taking them through the process of getting super clear on who they are, who they want to serve, right? Like I think that's a big part of it, right? Is what am I doing this for? What are the goals attached to this? Or how am I going to define whether or not this is a successful endeavor or investment in myself? That's critically important up front too. Some people, it is the packaging, right? Because they know that that's going to enhance their confidence. And I talked about this a lot because oftentimes people will come to me and they'll say, well, I'm not that confident. Why do I need to build my brand? And like, that's exactly why you need to build your brand, because you will become more confident in the process. And so really getting clear on what's next for them, setting the goals. Then it's about really pulling all of the elements together. What are the things that we need to shine a spotlight on? What are the things that we need to elevate or invest more time and energy in? And what are the things that we just need to cut out? Right? Like get rid of the things that aren't in alignment with who you are right now or that aren't a priority right now. Be okay with letting go so that you can grow. I see a lot of women just carrying all their suitcases of all their stuff. And I'm like, you don't need all that anymore. Like you've got all of these goodies that we need to focus on that are going to take you to the next level. And then it's about how do they want to show up? Where do they want to show up? What other elements or what other things do we need to pull together for them so that there's consistency and cohesion and clarity in their messaging and their marketing, so that everybody, when they see them, knows exactly who they are, what they stand for, and what they want, so that they can attract more of what they want and repel the things that aren't in alignment with where they are now. And so that's where we spend a lot of our time. And then, of course, how to monetize that. So really, where are the opportunities for them to speak, to have new opportunities from a professional perspective? Are they going after a new job? Are they starting their own business? What is the end goal here? And how are we going to make this something that is a profitable endeavor for them?
Wow. I feel like there's so many gems in just kind of the process that you shared. And I want to just even highlight your little mic drop moment of saying, letting go so that you can grow. And I have this
100%.
visual image of like letting go of all of the, shopping bags and the luggage bags and the grocery bags so that you can actually grow or even fly forward into whatever it is, your next chapter, your next season of life, your next, untapped potential. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's really the beauty that you bring out in so many people. I'm just in awe. And what have you seen from when people, start working with you? Because I know there's a lot of the imposter syndrome that can obviously happen, or the self-doubt
Mhm.
and the guessing of, well, why do I need to do this? And how do you see them after they, the transformation that they're complete and they're now ready? What have you noticed?
Oh, well, their confidence is in a much better place. And I think that's so beautiful when they can actually own who they are. And, going through that whole checkup from the neck up, right? Like I talked about on the other side, right? I do that with all of them, right? What are the mindset blocks? And I have a visual, right? Is it imposter syndrome? Is it your inner critic? Is it the self-doubt? Is it comparison trap, right? Like, are you getting stuck watching everybody else do their thing, right? Are you fearful of just being who you are? What is it? Because we can name it to tame it at that point, right? So when we can name it to tame it, we can look at that and we can say, what is it? What is the story you're telling yourself right now? And how do we negate it? And so a lot of them will do, I call them a win list, but we'll literally write down all of the amazing things about them so that they can see it on paper. Because oftentimes with, like, especially high achieving women or women that are ambitious, right? You're always focused on the next. You forget to celebrate what you've already got.
Or they don't celebrate it at all.
At all, right?
Yeah.
They're already gone. And so, we'll look at all of that and we'll say, okay, look at all of these amazing things. So you're worried about being an imposter, but you actually have done this before, or your inner critic is raging. So you need to simmer her down, check her at the door, and move through it, right? Because when you can remove its power, and I'm technically in sales, right, with what my role is too at ARS, but we have to overcome our own objections. And that's literally when you can help somebody do that, that changes the game. And you give them skills to be able to then recognize when it shows up the next time. So, a lot of my clients struggle with that inner critic of like, I'm not good enough. Who am I to do this? Right. Like, inner critic and imposter syndrome hang out a lot together.
Mm-hmm.
And so equipping them, helping them be aware, and then knowing how to address it, and then knowing how to move through it helps them. And they become better at it each and every time. And I always say, like, if you're not having little pings of it, right, of the imposter syndrome, you might not be stretching far enough. So don't necessarily check it as a bad thing every time. Notice it, acknowledge it, accept it, and move forward. But know that, like, you have to keep moving forward, and you're going to become better and more resilient and more confident every step of the way. And you get that way by doing the thing, right? Doing the thing that is uncomfortable, doing the thing that causes you to grow, doing the thing that allows you to shine brighter than you have before. Like, that's where the confidence comes from. And so seeing that evolution, right? Seeing that happen with the clients that I work with is just so powerful. And I do the same thing with my team, right? God bless all of them. They have to go through the same process because I need them to show up and shine bright too. And so it's this constant process of, like, recognizing it, naming it to tame it, being kind to our minds, moving forward.
See you next time at the Brave Table.